So do you really think the COVID hitman should get away with killing 500,000 Americans? Really? Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. What's going on with, not so much what's going on with the governor of New York, Mario Cuomo. Everybody realizes he's a bully, but how this might play out to the advantage of Donald Trump. I'll talk about that in our third hour. And, we just have a pile of stuff here. But I want to start out with Anthony Fauci, Donald Trump, and Greg Abbott. Anthony Fauci just came out, this was yesterday, and said that we have 524,000 dead Americans now, more than any other country in the world. We've got more COVID cases than any country in the world. We've got more dead Americans than any other country in the world. And Anthony Fauci came out and said, you know, don't lift your mask mandates until we achieve herd immunity, which is going to be like, 70, 75, 80% of the population vaccinated. And with this new variant coming along, it's 50% more contagious. Keep in mind, measles is hugely more contagious than COVID or the flu or anything else. It's one of the most contagious diseases out there. You have to have 96 to 97% immunization in a community to achieve herd immunity with measles, which is why they're so hysterical about the measles vaccine. Using the old variant, the assumption was 70 to 75% vaccination and you will have herd immunity and, the country can go back to normal. But with these new variants that keep mutating in these places, there's a new variant out of Louisiana. There's a new variant out of Brazil. There's of course, the British variant that's floating around. And some of them are, the B117, the British variant, which is the fastest growing one in the United States. By the middle of this month, it'll be probably more than half of all cases. It's 50% more contagious than the old original COVID virus. So Fauci is like, you're nuts if you reduce the mass vaccine. He said you can't be turning restrictions on and off. That was his phrase. He said we have to keep America as safe as we can from this virus by not letting up on any of the public health measures. And then you get Greg Abbott down in Texas and Tate Reeves, the governor of Mississippi, going, hey, we're open. We're back to normal. It doesn't matter. Go out there and get yourself infected. In fact, Tate Reeves on CNN State of the Union over the weekend said, our objective in Mississippi has never been to rid ourselves of the virus. Our goal is to make sure we protect the integrity of our healthcare system. In other words, let's just let people continue dying. Let's just hold it down to a rate where it doesn't overwhelm our ICUs and ERs. Think about this. I really want to put this in a larger frame and ask you the question, why is it happening like this, that there's no accountability for this? Normally, when something happens that kills 500,000 people in one country, something that was preventable, normally when that happens, somebody is held accountable. Taiwan has a population of 24 million people. In the 14 months since this began, 10 people have died in Taiwan. In Vietnam, they got a population of 97 million. 35 people have died in Vietnam. In Thailand, with a population of 70 million, 85 people have died. In Australia, with 25 million people, 909 people have died. In South Korea, with a population of 51 million people, 1,600 people have died, and in Canada, with 38 million people, 22,000 people have died. If you add all those numbers together, you get a little over 24,000 people, 24,663 people. We have lost 530,000. We have lost 500,000. And by the way, if you add the population of all those countries together, it's pretty much the same as America. So what's the difference between this collection of countries that I just named that have seen a total of 24,000 deaths, almost 25,000 deaths in a year and a half, versus America that has seen 530,000 deaths? The difference is that every one of those countries that I named had a nationwide mask mandate, had a nationwide ban on getting together in indoor settings, large numbers of people. In other words, they took basic public health steps. They didn't do anything magic. Now, most of those countries are in Asia, and the reason why the Asian countries did so much better than the European countries, for example, is because they had SARS back a decade and a half ago. And it hit them really hard. It killed a bunch of people. And they learned how to deal with a pandemic. But this wasn't rocket science. The Obama administration left behind a manual. It was called the Pandemic Playbook that the Trump administration literally threw away. The Obama administration set up 2 offices, one in the Director of National Security's office and one in the Department of Homeland Security, to deal specifically with pandemics, and the Trump administration in their first year shut them both down, fired all the people, disposed of all the documents. So why aren't we holding anybody accountable? I mean, here in America, Donald Trump knew this virus was deadly. He told Bob Woodward in January of last year, 14 months ago, he told Bob Woodward, this is deadly. This is 5 times more deadly than the flu. This is a nasty virus. This is deadly stuff. Those are all phrases that Donald Trump used when he was talking to Bob Woodward back in January, 14 months ago, January. He knew. But what did he say to the 70 million followers he has and to all the rest of us? He used these exact phrases. It's just like the flu. There's nothing to fear. It's no big deal. It will miraculously disappear. And because of his lies, we now have 500,000 plus dead Americans. 1 in every 670 Americans has died of the coronavirus. More Americans have died from the virus that Trump let rage through America. Hell, he encouraged it to rage through America than from every war we have fought in since 1900. I mean, virtually all of these deaths, sure, I mean, somebody on Twitter said, well, once it got into America, it was inevitable people would die. Yeah, a few. Maybe we can cut Trump some slack on 10 or 20 or 30 or 50,000 deaths. Maybe even 100,000 if you want to be super generous, but 500,000? Hell no. This guy has blood on his hands. He even lied about how sick COVID made him. We know now when he went into the hospital, his blood oxygen levels were hitting around 80. That's the point where you get intubated. And he lied, and he never told us. He lied by omission. He never told us that he got vaccinated. So how do we hold this guy accountable? And then Greg Abbott and the governor of Mississippi, how do we hold them accountable?